All right, guys, I'm going to kind of keep this short. This is a spraying video. I'll show a little bit of it, but I'm not going to show a lot. Everybody's going to have different goals when it comes to spraying. And my goals is to wipe out that nasty morning coffee and reduce these morning glories. But if you're new to spraying, you need to understand here that not everything you set out will survive spray. Matter of fact, quite a bit of it will not survive. So for instance, I know I need to clean out this screen wall to keep these vines at bay so the wall can grow nice and tall and not get choked off. But if I come in here and just coat this whole area here, I'm going to kill my screen wall off because it is not spray resistant. So I will spot spray in between areas that I can get. There was some newly planted screen wall right here, and the vines have just choked it out. So I've got a golden opportunity, at least in this section here, to wipe it out, and we can start anew. In the main plot, you know, sunflowers are not resistant. The Milo I have in here is not resistant. The soybean is really the only plant that I have that is glyphosate resistant. Now the deer vetch, on the other hand, is resistant to clethodim and some other sprays, but if I hit it with gly, it will kill it. So after I get done spraying, I'm going to wait 24 hours, come back out here tomorrow and sow deer vetch in here. And then this stuff will start kicking in. Some of it reacts faster in other plants. You'll notice it some in a few days. Others can take a week, but it will start killing off weeds you don't want. Another thing I would recommend is to watch out for. Soybean is, like I mentioned before, my soybean is spray resistant, but I want you to remember that word, resistant. It doesn't mean immune. So what you have to watch out for, and I'll show you the one that I've been using here, is, see, this is the bottle I've been using. I've had really good results. There are generic brands. You don't have to use this if you don't want to. But what you have to watch out for is if you mix this ratio with too much glyphosate and not enough water, you're going to start having an effect on your soybean. And at some point, if you mix it too strong, you will kill your soybean. So if you've mixed it strong, signs to look for is really stunted growth, yellowing, and dying of leaves. That lets you know that you went too strong on your mix, and the next time you have to use it, back off. Now, for me, I don't like spraying. And I knew this was going to happen this year because the mat was just so awful because of what the matted soybean done the year before. So just be aware, I am not like spray. If I can avoid spraying, I will not do it. So I'm not totally anti-spray. I only do it when I need to, and this is a need to basis right now. Because if I don't, I'm going to lose a lot of plants in here. All right, guys, so hang on tight and strap this thing on. And by the way, this is my new one. The other one had an O-ring blowout on it and just started leaking everywhere. So I checked this one, I filled it, there were no leaks, so I feel good with that one. That's another thing you might want to do on your yearly maintenance, is make sure there's no leaks. A lot of times I will run just pure water through them and attempt a regular spray like I'm doing like normal, and to make sure there's no leaks in the hose. I don't want to get any of that on me. And you may want to wear long pants, thicker pants, and try not to spray this if the wind's in your face. Well, if I'm standing here, the wind's either in my face or it's at my back. It's kind of going both ways right now, and I really don't like that. So let me turn this thing on. if I can. Hold on one second here. There we go. Don't take long at all. So right here's a nice wide open spot, and I want to avoid destroying sun hemp. So here we're going to spray other areas out. And right here, that is big ugly pigweed. Every year I keep reducing it, and it's coming back far fewer amounts. So what happens when you get really close? You can turn your nozzle and direct spray away from it. And try to remember which way the wind is blowing when you're spraying. And that way you don't destroy anything that's not resistant. So in a few days, these guys are going to die out, especially this morning glory. I don't mind a little bit of morning glory in here, but it cannot take over and affect my plants. And that's the stage it's getting to. So I'm trying to save that little sorghum. Now look, you don't have to do what I'm doing here. If you've got a completely resistant spray, just go to town on it. But I'm just showing you a few advantages when you're doing multiple species, because they simply just can't resist it. All of them can't. So I will stop the video there, and I will not bore you to death of spraying, and I'm going to get started now. So hang tight, guys. There will be a follow-up to this, along with a food plot update to show the progression and the explosion of the good plants that come through it. All right, guys, see you all later. All right, guys, here is the spray update. These type of videos are more suited for beginners. So in the previous video, you saw all kinds of weeds destroying the plot. It looked like it was totally wiped out. You know, the plot was failing. There wasn't going to be nothing here. But we have completely turned this around. And this is how I'm going to keep these soybeans from matting down. See how much thinner this is? There's all kinds of space available. But when these plants mature, this will be all one solid piece that will be completely covered. But they won't fall over because they're going to grow stronger, thicker, and most likely, I mean, at the rate we're going here, they're probably going to be closer toward the 6 to 7 foot range this time around. Last year, I only had maybe a handful that got to that 6 foot mark maybe. And from the looks of it right now, I think we're well on our way to be better than that. So here you can see some of these weeds are still in the process of dying. I've actually come through a second time once I cleared off the main issue, and I'm coming back to do a little bit tighter touching up. But you know, plants like this can't handle spray, so that's why you're not seeing dead weeds around them. This is what I consider a little bit more precise spraying. Other areas I basically cleaned its clock down there on the lower end. It was wide open spraying. Some of the sorghums, sun hemp, and other plants are gone. Now in this situation here, I probably could have sprayed this a little tighter, but I can always come back in here and just remove these guys. Big roots, takes up a lot of nutrients. And like I talked about too, I said the soybean would green up and take off because of less competition. Well, here we are, less competition. We see a ginormous leap in soybean leaf sizes now. So we've hit this stage to where it's actually taking off quite quickly. I'd say it's doubled in height since I've sprayed it. This area in the middle is about 2 weeks behind the rest of it. And I want you to notice something else here. So now it's pretty easy to see the soybean that was hidden away, but we have a new seed bank of Morning Coffee and Morning Glories coming up. This is a golden opportunity for me to destroy that seed bank. And this ain't as bad as it used to be. I mean, I have made headway with this type of invasive weed, but you can't let that stuff flower. I mean, you just cannot do it. It mass produces. So I'm going to let this grow back up, let it get a little taller. Of course, the soybean is going to be far ahead of it at this point. And I'm going to hit another wave of spray in here again. Now, at the same time, I got to be careful, because in these wider areas, I've actually went back and added sun hemp and buckwheat. So this will give it time to sprout, and I will spray away areas that did not do well and remove them. Now, up here is an area that I did not spray, because I was finding quite a bit of okra in that little patch right here. So now I can go back in and kind of tighten this up a bit, and then hand pull what I need to remove that Morning Coffee. I'm more concerned about the Morning Coffee than I am the Morning Glories right now. But this has worked extremely well. Got a very, very effective kill off. That soybean right there, that color has more than tripled in darkness since I've sprayed this out. So all I need now is a really good rain, and we are off to the races. Matter of fact, if I can probably get at least a ½ inch of rain, although I'd love to have a full 1 to 2 inches, but I think all I need is about a ½ inch, and we're fixing to get it. But that area there, I found quite a few plants in there that would not survive. But I can probably cut that area in half now that it's easier to see in there. And I can focus on that area more. And that's okay if you don't, this is a different type of spraying. If this had been all soybean, all I had to do was walk across it and we're done. I was having to stop, turn the nozzle, make sure I don't contact the sorghum. I don't want the sorghum getting destroyed, even though I did lose some of it. I would say roughly 10% of it is dead. I did lose some of the sunflowers. You can see that one dying over there. And that is also just part of it. Some of the sun hemp is gone. The buckwheat got hit. I'm not as concerned about losing buckwheat because I can replace it so quickly. So I actually lost probably more like 30 to 35% of the buckwheat that was in here. See, like right here, some okra. I got to be careful. Okra does have a little bit of resistance naturally, as long as you don't hit it too hard or maybe complete direct spray on it. I've seen it before where I have misted them and they look like they're going to die, and then a week later they're growing again. So there is a very small resistance with those plants. Not much at all. But I just don't want to take that risk. There's the off-brand sunflowers. That copper is really helping. So now you can see what's happening. Here's one that did get sprayed. Got hit just hard enough to where it looks like it's going to die, but I don't think it is. I think we're going to see this one snap out of it and bounce back. But a lot of good growing is occurring with this soybean now. And with all the stuff that I filled in here in the next 7 to 10 days, we should see a nice bounce back. Beautiful sunflower. That is a lot more copper greening these plants up. I saved the nitrogen treatment for last, because if I had done the nitrogen treatment first, you would have not seen how copper changes nitrogen pumpers or any surrounding plants that's within the range of nitrogen pumpers. That is an amazing looking sunflower. That it has a much stronger structure because I did upgrade the silica in here. All the soybeans have a stronger, sturdier look to them. So I think the threat of them falling over is going to be very minimal this time around. Now, one thing I would like to note is areas like this. I think, based on what I'm seeing here, the next year's sow, I can push that toward 60 to 65 pounds. I do not want to go past that threshold. That's it. That's where I'm going to limit myself with these soybeans. There's a good sized turkey feather. I've been having a lot of babies and big hens in here. Very good turkey group in here, even though I'm not a turkey hunter. But that's it, guys. I mean, the spray has done fantastic. I will provide a more comprehensive update. I just wanted to show that, every section up here pretty much looks like this right now. Voided, or areas depleted of weeds, and some areas I did not hit, and that is on purpose until I can sort some things out. Just trying to save a few plants. But that is what I was talking about. Big time green up. Competition is out of the way. Copper treatments are kicking in. Love it. All right, guys, that storm is almost here, and that is your spray update. So what looks like pure panic has now turned into a plot reset, and we are rocking and rolling with massive leaf sizes. Have a good one, guys.